effective strategies for online teaching, right? So how many of you think that we as teachers got a chance to really prepare ourselves for this, transition, or a gradual transition happened between offline teachers, we being, traditional chalk and duster teachers, and we capable of handling things online? Do you think we got enough time for the transition? हमें मिला time? नहीं. What happened? क्या हुआ था? COVID happened, right? And the first thing that was shut down was educational institutions, right? And we had no clue how to continue teaching, the curriculum, and how to sort of start off with this with our students, right? So yes, thank God we had some access to Google Meets, we had the access to Zoom, but we never ever got any formal training. Okay, technically we were taught little things like how to start it, how to do things effectively, screen share kya hota hai, but how to engage the audience literally in an online mode was very, very difficult, isn't it? So today's session I'll be taking up few activities, few exercises, few psychological principles about how to engage the students, how to make them participate more, where they have joined from their remote centers, and how do you ensure that everybody is there with you, or at least maximum number of people are there with you. Okay, so how do we start a session online is through some ice breaking activity, right? Through some engagement, through some ensuring some kind of participation, right? Okay, I know that most of the people who have come here, you don't know each other. Do you know each other? No, we don't, right? So let's start with an icebreaker where everybody in this room is going to meet everybody else. So I want you to rise from your seats, right? Move around, shake hands, fold your hands, greet and meet everybody in this room. Please rise, everybody. How does it feel? सबको मिलके कैसा लग रहा है? हाँ, obviously. हमारे जैसे ही हैं, definitely. Any change in the energy of the room? कुछ फर्क है एनर्जी में? Yes. सब चुप-चुप बैठे थे और हाँ जी, अब इंट्रोड्यूस हो गए, है ना? खाना खाया हुआ था, थोड़ी नींद आ रही थी, थोड़ा मूव किया, थोड़ा एंगेज किया एक दूसरे के साथ. So obviously we are feeling more attentive, right? We are feeling a little more energetic. So like physically जब हम कुछ session करते हैं, it is so easy to create engagement. Similarly, if you want to engage audience online, you need to start and plan, or initiate it with some kind of an activity, है ना? जो beginning है, that has to start on a high note for the audience to understand that something new, something different is going to happen in this session, right? Okay, now there are many different ways of starting a session. So in the beginning, if we start with a icebreaker, that really helps. Okay, and what kind of the different icebreakers we can use is, number one is music. Is it possible for you to play some small dance number or video clip or something like that and ask everybody, to get into some kind of action? Because the way you start something really sets the tone for how the rest of the thing is going to go. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I'm going to play a little music, everybody, and again I want all of you to stand. This is YouTube. And just sway on the music. Online people, can you hear the music? Everybody rise. Please, everybody rise. and you can just sway on the music.
Ma'am, you can see
गाना
on the
सुना हुआ है
video.
किसी ने? बहुत पॉपुलर गाना रहा है अपने टाइम का. अभी आप लिरिक्स सुनोगे तो आपको याद आ जाएगा.
Ma'am, can you see
Click
people
your
from remote
fingers.
section?
सुना हुआ है? Be happy. हमने तो अपने ग्रोइंग अप इयर्स में ये गाना बहुत सुना. किसी को ये लिरिक्स सुने सुने लग रहे, फेमिलियर लग रहे? डोंट वरी बी हैप्पी बहुत पॉपुलर टैगलाइन है. Right? So doing a thing like this really, set the tone and creates more engagement in the audience. Okay? All right. Thank you very much, everybody. You can really put your hands together for your own self, because engagement creates or sets the tone. That's the key here. कहाँ गई मेरी file? So how we start? Matlab, this is a disaster what has happened today. If this is how we hold our online sessions, there is no way we can hold our audience there. Okay. So obviously the pre-preparation is very important, and starting your presentation in a mode or in a manner that you actually are able to catch the attention of your audience is extremely important, right? Because they are all sitting remotely. We have no clue. We have no idea whether they are interested, disinterested, whether they are present, absent, whether they are looking forward to or not. We have no idea about that. Okay. And I think we have tried every possible fundamental to request them to keep their cameras on while the presentation is happening or engage, but it just does not work. So what do? So there is an acronym, and you can all write it in your notebooks. The acronym is W 4 times I FM. W 4 times I. नहीं अभी ठीक है. Yeah, अभी ठीक है. Thank you. Okay.
3 times or 4 times?
4 times. What is in it for me? It stands for what is in it for me. So it is 3 times. The audience will only engage, your students will only listen to you if they feel that there is something in it for them, right? So in the beginning of the session only, how do we explain it to them that what is in it for them? There are 3 things you need to do. You actually need to set the expectations, and you actually need to tell them what is it that we are going to cover in the session right in the beginning of the session, right? So they must have an idea what is going to happen and what is there to expect in the next 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Okay. Another very interesting way to start your session is from what is called as asking questions. We can always start the session by asking questions. Okay. And the format for asking questions is, again, how many of you? You can see HMOY. How many of you? For example, you're going to start with a session, say, on nutrition. Okay. So a simple question like, how many of you have had your breakfast in the morning today? If I ask you this question, how many of you have had the breakfast in the morning today? May I have some show of hands? Okay. Thank you. How many of you did not have your breakfast? May I have some show of hands? कितने लोग ने नाश्ता नहीं खाया? All right. Thank you very much. So when I ask a question like this, what happens is there are people who are this side. They will also raise their hands. There are people who are that side will also raise their hands. So what happens is at least you find a breakthrough to get through each one of your students or each one of the participants by asking some very simple questions. So what do you people teach? Like, what are your subjects? आप क्या पढ़ाते हो?
Mechanical workshop, engineering drawing, generic skills.
Okay, mechanical workshop, engineering drawing.
Electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering. So let us say you have to start a session on one of your, core chapters. So ma'am, what are the questions that you can start with? Which has this side also? That's like, I did a session on parenting yesterday. So I asked them 2 questions. How many of you think that parenting is something that we know right from being parents? And how many of you think it is a skill and it has to be acquired?
Like when we start with the engineering drawing, we tell them that drawing is the language of engineers. It is not in the syllabus, but we tell them to make it more interesting. And then we start with, have you ever wondered why HB is written on a pencil? It is not in the book, but I know the answer. I can make it more interesting for them.
Precisely.
So this is something new for them. H stands for hardness, B, and I can go on and on. Then I can get in with the curriculum part also.
Precisely.
Then again coming to some interesting facts. Have you heard about this thing? Oh, this was in the news. Suna nahi aapne? And then again coming back to the...
Precisely. So it is so important that you master the art of asking questions if you want to engage your audience, whether it is online or offline. Normally, teaching is associated with lecturing, which is one-way traffic. But what happens is it leads to a lot of information overload. And there is a time that the listener disconnects completely. Okay? So throughout your sessions, you got to be asking a lot of questions. Correct? And the easiest way to start is asking a question or in one sentence. Like, for example, if I'm doing something with, say, entrepreneurs, right? So I will say, or I'll tell them, how many of you think that mindset is important for success in entrepreneurship? People will raise their hand. And then the next question will be, how many of you think mindset is not required for success in entrepreneurship? The rest of the audience, they will. And also, you got to model the actions yourself. So if you're playing music, you can't expect them to dance unless you do it yourself. Okay. Another way that I've been starting my sessions from very long in this the online audience also, you can do this activity. For this activity, all of us, we are going to take out our stopwatches. You can take out your mobiles and go to the stopwatch app. Go to your mobiles and take out the stopwatch app. Okay? And just listen to the instructions. Do what has been told to you, and then we will debrief and we will discuss what happened and why did we do this activity. Are you all game?
Yes.
Great. So what you need to do is you got to inhale first, take a deep, long breath, and the moment after taking that deep breath, start your stopwatch. And hold the breath for as long as it is possible. Once you feel now it is becoming too suffocating and I can't do it anymore, exhale and then stop the stopwatch. Are the instructions clear to everybody? Online people, is it clear? Right? You have to breathe in, hold your breath and then breathe out, and you got to record the duration for which you could do all of this. Right? Let us start together. Everybody inhale, take a deep long breath. Start the stopwatch. Hold your breath for as long as possible. आज पता चलेगा कितने लोग प्राणायाम करते हैं सुबह उठ के. And this is no competition, let me tell you. We are just going to figure out after the end of this activity, why did we do what we did? And people who have joined with us online, please keep using the chat box to keep us updated on what are you doing? I mean, how long could you hold your breath? Or you can unmute also and share it with us. Yes, start giving me your responses if you're already done with it. How many seconds? 41. 1 minute, 8 seconds.
1 minute 12 seconds.
45 seconds. 1 minute, 12 seconds. 42 seconds. Okay. 41 seconds. 43 seconds. Brilliant. 45 seconds.
57 seconds.
57 seconds.
67.
Now, the thing is, no matter for how long did you hold it, ultimately you had to let go. All of us had to exhale, right? This is exactly what is important for each one of us to understand when it comes to attending online sessions also, or attending training sessions also. Any inhalation has to be, culminated into exhalation. Now, when you're attending a training session, what is your inhalation? Up, what is it that you're gaining or taking in? Education, yes. Information. What else? Sharing. Whatever is being shared by the resource.
Again, just in that principle of yours, what's in it?
What is in it? Precisely speaking, whenever we are attending a training session, there is information being shared, knowledge being shared, skills being shared, and also, some wisdom being shared. That's your inhalation, right? Now, no matter how interesting the session is or how competent the trainer is, unless you participate, unless you share your understanding, your take homes, you engage, it will lead to information overload. If you do not share, if you do not engage, if you do not participate, and you're just passively taking everything that the speaker is saying, it will lead to toxicity. You'll get choked on information, right? So after little time, it's extremely important that you as an audience share, speak up, respond, absolutely. And as a trainer or a speaker or a teacher who's actually, this side of the table, you ensure that you're creating those windows where every now and then you're asking the audience to engage with you. Very, very important. And there are different mediums, different modes to encourage people to engage. Like one thing is, sort of addressing those audience who are engaging with you online, calling out their names repeatedly. So if anything happens, I mean, the system is disastrous today. I can't even see the audience. Again, this cursor is gone, so I can't even switch to that window. So I can't even call out the names of the people, right? So you keep requesting people, one, to answer the questions, right? And then, calling out the names of the people and the answers that they have put into the chat box, so that you send them a message that their participation is being acknowledged. Okay, so repeatedly keep telling your audience, please put your responses in the chat window. Please unmute and share. What do you think is is the answer to this question? And every time somebody
Are we audible
responds,
to you?
call
Are
out
we
that
audible?
person and speak it loud, whatever the response they have shared in the chat window. This really encourages people, and this really sort of gives them the feedback that their participation matters to the organizer or the person on this side of the window. That's very, very important. Okay. Another important thing is seeking
Ma'am,
permission,
are we audible to you?
or acknowledging the people who have become or come to become a part of your session, or those who are attending the session. So it's a great idea to start your session with expressing your gratitude, saying thank you to people who have come to attend it, right? Like you can always tell your students that you all had a choice to sit in the canteen at this time and do whatever you want. But the fact that you are present here on this call speaks volumes about your commitment to your education, to your studies, and it speaks volumes about how disciplined you are as a student. I really say thank you to you, and I really acknowledge this discipline and this commitment that you are showing by being present in the class, right? So as a speaker, please always remember that a speaker is a speaker because there is an audience to listen. Had you people not been here, right, I wouldn't have spoken to, I would not have addressed the chairs and tables. So my existence as a speaker is there because there's an audience available. अगर आप लोग नहीं होते तो क्या ये सेशन होता? अगर मैं नहीं आती, आई प्रॉमिस यू निटर में से कोई ना कोई ये सेशन ले लेता. I am replaceable. But you as an audience is irreplaceable. Right? So when we attach that kind of value and when we make the session about others and not about me, we think of 100 different things of making it interesting, creating some engagement, making it, the participant seeking maximum value out of that particular session. So it's never, an online session is never about switching on the camera and starting from the beginning and ending it and closing it. Never about that. So always remember, there are two factors in the beginning of the sessions. It's called catch factors. You have to grab the attention of your audience. You have to make it very enticing, very interesting. Okay, now my question to all of you. We have already talked about it also. What have you been doing, so far in the beginning of your sessions to make it a little interesting? What tools have you been implying? Like sir said, he asked a lot of questions. So normally what else have you all been doing? क्या अलग करते थे कुछ in the beginning of the session?
green आ रहा होगा ना green.
Or current event or also current event which people they can relate.
Relate. Absolutely. What is it? What is in it for me?
Ma'am, are you
Another
audible?
question to all of you. Why do you think, we like to go shopping, we like to go watch movies, or, be with friends? Why do we prefer all these things? Or what is the reason that nobody has to motivate us for all this?
For refreshing ourselves, for enjoying the
Precisely. You said it, ma'am. Because we enjoy those activities.
it gives us
Pleasure, isn't it? So why is it that students don't come to the classrooms or they do not attend these sessions? Is there is no sense of pleasure, there is no sense of interest, there is no engagement involved here. So why the hell, when they have an option of keeping themselves on mute, switching, keep the video off, why should they be there? Give me one good reason. And whatever you and we are teaching to them online, there must be a better YouTube video available for that. Correct? So give me one good reason why should they come to this class? Or why should they attend the sessions online? Upar se, we have our own handicaps as the generation that we are not very adept with technology. Every now and then, like, there is something that will make you strand in the session and everybody loses interest in the session. So it is your responsibility and my responsibility, to create some thunder, to create at least some uniqueness and novelty in the session, that people actually feel like being a part of the session.
Like some of the speakers, they have their signature style. The Ravish Kumar, Namaskar, मैं Ravish Kumar. That makes it different. A league apart actually. Because Devaki from Bristol, the style of narration is.
He's a storyteller, sir.
Yes.
He's a complete storyteller.
Yes.
And
he begins the sessions with these funny things.
Totally. So something interesting, something funny, something which might captivate their energy, their interest, right? Something that breaks that barrier has to be there in the beginning of the session for people to feel that, okay, let's stay here. There seems to be something happening here. Okay. Now those things are called as catch factors. And can you think of some catch factors? We've already discussed the catch factors. What are the different ways we can start our sessions with? Music. What else? Asking questions. Clapping. Acknowledging. Laughing. And so something which is unconventional, something which is non-traditional, right? And something which adds a little zing, a little spice of novelty to the session. That is very, very important. You can ask with candid questions, how many of you, right? And people cannot hold on to what you're saying for more than 1 or 2 minutes, right? So every few minutes, there has to be something where you're asking the audience to share their perspective. Okay. Now, let us look at some pre-session, during session, and post-session engagement strategies. Like I said, in the beginning of the session, it is very important to set the expectation. Like, what is it that the audience will gain out of this session? What major things you are going to introduce and involve in the session, so that I have a clear idea कि ये मेरे लिए useful है कि नहीं है, right? Other thing is creating anticipation. Like so many times, you know, you will hear these good speakers say things like, जो मैं अब आपको बात बताने वाला हूं ना, वो 1,00,000 रुपए की बात है, right? Now what I'm going to share with you is extremely important. Come closer to the camera, right? Or what I'm going to share with you is going to be really an aha moment or a light bulb moment for all of you. Do you really want to listen? Are you game? Isn't it? So questions like, are you game? Are you ready? Shall I tell you that? Okay, if you really want me to tell it, put a Y in the chat box. Put a yes in the chat box. Okay. Similarly, you know, when I told you this, that what is in it for me? So you're introducing something new, something different. Ask everybody in the audience to use the chat box and put it in the chat box. How much time do you think will it take to type these 4 words? What is in it for me? WIIFM. Maybe a half a second. Right? And then acknowledge people who are actually participating through the chat box. Take their names. Repeat what they have written. Right? And whenever somebody speaks amongst the audience, right? Really acknowledge. And how do we acknowledge? Simply by repeating what they have said. Like I asked, why do we go? Ma'am said, because we are interested in that. I said, absolutely right. Because we are interested in that. Then she said, because we gain pleasure out of that. Or sir took some names, Divya Kirti, and you know, so just repeat what the audience is saying. So that they will feel what? They will feel valued. Okay. One more thing I want to share with you, that, you know, or rather, first let me ask you this question. All of us, we human beings, we have some basic physiological needs. 3 basic हमारी physical या physiological needs है. Anybody? Absolutely. Right? Roti, kapda और makan. Like we have physical needs, we also have psychological needs. Those are survival needs. We have some emotional and psychological needs also. Right? The first one is to be seen. The second one is to be heard. And the third one is to be valued. Totally. So can you please repeat it? The first one is to be seen. Second is to be heard. Third is to be valued. So whenever you're giving an important bit of information, ask them to repeat it after you, either verbally by unmuting themselves or putting it in the chat box. Right? Now let's take it one by one. Now, when you have an online audience, there is, you know, our capacity, our tendency, and the play field to make them feel seen, heard, and valued reduces. Because now I can maintain eye contact with each one of you. It's not possible online unless they have switched on their cameras, etc., which people generally don't. Isn't it? So you have to find ways and means of making them feel seen. So how do you make them feel seen? Tell me. We have discussed it already. Calling out their names. Isn't it? Let us think that, you know, we requested people to switch on the cameras. Out of 100 people, 5 people switched on their cameras. What is the next thing to do? Acknowledge those people by saying thank you to them who are visible on the screen.
Hello.
Isn't it? So when you thank them, they will stay with you. Keep on repeatedly acknowledging those people. Thank you so much. We're already half an hour into the session, yet you are there with me on screen. It is really adding a lot of human element to my session. Thank God, because of you, I'm not talking to a television or a wall. Isn't it? So please acknowledge. And this way we are making people feel seen. Right? Second very important thing. Whenever they put something in the chat box or whenever they participate, they engage. Again, call out their name. Very important. And repeat what they have just shared with you. Or thank them for saying whatever. We really, really underestimate the power of two things. One, acknowledgement, gratitude, appreciation, and two, seeking permission. Right? कभी कभी जादू देखा है? I mean, जादूगर का शो देखा है?
Yes.
हाँ जी,
बांध के रखता है वो सब।
बांध के रखता है, बिल्कुल सही सर, है ना? How they connect with the audience, how they engage with the audience. Keep on asking questions, asking people to come and hold something for them, right? Or do something. Exactly that is what you need to do in an online session also. So we have to sort of, keep our morale high, our energy high, our motivation high, and then pull up everybody into that zone of energy and not get disheartened because, not everybody is responding. Even if in a group of or batch of 105 people are there who are responding, be very happy about it. That's your audience. Right? You can always encourage others that I really want someone else who have not spoken yet to speak, or someone else who have not really engaged yet to please, share their perspective. Right? If does not happen, perfectly fine. मतलब जब क्रिकेट भी खेलते हैं तो 20 मतलब फील्ड पे तो कितने 13 लोग ही होते हैं, 11+2, बाकी तो सारी भीड़ ही होती है ना? सो डू नॉट गेट डिसहार्टेंड इफ many people are not engaging. Rather, engage more and more with the people who are showing up, who are participating, right? And really keeping this whole transaction of you engaging with them alive. That's very, very important. Okay, so setting expectation and creating anticipation. Creating anticipation means, having that element of surprise. So let me tell you this. I'm going to share something very urgent, something very important, something that is really going to affect your marks, that's something your impact your understanding. So be there with me. Are you there with me? Okay, I'm not going to, that's how it happens. So I'm not going to share until I see 5, show of hands, or I see 5 people raising their hands, or 5 emojis on the screen. Right? So ask them to use emojis, thumbs up, and they have their virtual hand, right? And people who have who are there, whose videos are on, ask them to show up their physical hand. So along with whatever you are teaching, there's a parallel thing going on where you're constantly motivating them to let you know that they are present, they are alive, and they are interested in the conversation. And how, keep on acknowledging that how these little sort of these glimmers that they're sharing with you, how important it is for you to, give your best in that particular session.
बस स्टैंड के पास तो बता रही होती थी।
हाँ।
आपको 2-2 घंटे खड़ा रखते थे,
बताओ।
में चूरन होता तो निकाल के 2 घंटे बाद आपको चूरन ही देना।
Imagine।
लेकिन वो आपको ये वहां ये निकला वो वाला कहानी नरेशन होती है बड़ी थी। वो आप देखते भी कुछ तो बताएगा मुझे।
Exactly।
बाद में आपके सामने चूरन रख देना।
बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हो।
खराब करके आप खड़े भी रहते थे, आप तैयारी थे कि आप अगली लाइन पे शायद कुछ बताएगा।
Exactly।
न्यूज़ चैनल पे मैडम जैसे आता ब्रेकिंग।
Imagine, you said it. Totally।
क्या है कि कुत्ता बिल्ली वो कहानी सुना दी खत्म कर दी।
कितना सर पे हाथ मारते, लेकिन सर जब फिर अगली बार ब्रेकिंग न्यूज आती है हम फिर देखने के लिए बैठ जाते हैं। सो कुछ तो है ना ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी में which we can also exploit and we can also use in our favor as teachers. If they can, why can't we? Basically कुछ नहीं sir, they play on our curiosity. They play on something like, you remember many years ago there was this serial Jassi Jaisi Koi Nahi, Mona Singh, है ना? So how they created so much of curiosity around Jassi कौन है? There were hoardings, Jassi कौन है या Jassi आने वाली है, isn't it? So they create इतना hype create कर दिया, and then they hid her original identity, because we human beings, we love things which evoke our curiosity, which create excitement, where there is an element of uniqueness and novelty. So you and I as teachers now cannot sort of, satisfy or do justice to the education if we only know our subjects well. We have to be amazing storytellers. We need to create a lot of engagement and, learn those skills of creating engagement. And Trust me, anybody can do that. It is just a matter of practice. It is just about practice. I'll share a small story with you. Now, there are a lot of elements again, that we need to use in order to keep, some kind of modulation in our session. Now, imagine there was a time when we used to listen to the news either on television, Doordarshan, or on the radio. है ना? Monotonous. I can never forget. I come from Moga, so in Jalandhar Doordarshan, we used to hear, Kisan ka program or news. It was so monotonous that it could never ever capture, even though there was just 10 minutes or 15 minutes ka news, but we children could never sit through that. But now, sir, you only said just now that they just write Sansani, breaking news, and everybody is glued as if pata nahi kya, Bhanumati ka patara khulne wala hai yahan pe. Right? So there has to be a lot of variety of elements.
Back then also we used to have a host like ma'am, Amin Sayani, who would keep you
But then unki awaaz suno sir,
Yes.
modulation,
Yes.
bheno aur bhaiyo, that voice modulation was there.
It's the latest time was he used to say Behno first. Otherwise, it's always Bhai or Behno.
Haan.
He was always
See?
created a point that
Small elements, and it makes so much of difference. Right? So our brain actually seeks novelty. Right? 5 दिन 6 दिन काम करने के बाद 7th day holiday is always welcome. But when we go out for a holiday, you spend 7 days out somewhere and then you want to come back home, yes or no? Right? Because our brain is wired that way that anything that is monotonous or straight line, it is not able to create enough stimulation to keep it going. Right? So in your sessions, again, there has to be multiple elements so that your students now know the pattern that if this teacher is there taking a session, there will be something different. There is going to be a lot of diversity. Okay. So I was talking about matter of practice, how practice is important for that, right? And you can't execute everything that you're listening to today. You can start with 1 or 2 elements. That is for sure. We always start small. So I'll just share a very small sort of anecdote with you on practice. So there was an archer who was showing his archery skill. तीरंदाज था, तीरबाज था, तो वो अपनी archery की skills दिखा रहा था, and it was a huge audience and everybody was in awe of the archer because he was so precise, so satik, and he was really, really master of his feat and his skill. But there was one man or one person in the audience. Every time this archer would do something, he would say, "Oh, it's just matter of practice. Oh, he has just practiced it very well." And now this archer, it really started hurting him. Thank God he had the patience not to do that. So he said, "You come here and you do it." He said, "How can I do it? I haven't practiced it. You are Mr. Archer. I am not." And this person who was saying it is matter of practice, वो तेल बेचता था. Right? So what he did, उसने ना एक बड़ी सी कैन में से एक छोटे से नोजल वाले thin diameter वाले, जैसे आप टेस्ट ट्यूब लगा लो कुछ, very precisely, he poured the oil into that, filled it up to the brim, and not a drop was out of that little, test tube. So this तेल बेचने वाला guy, he told the archer, अब तू करके बता. He says, मैं थोड़ी कर सकता हूँ, मैंने तो कभी किया ही नहीं. He says, precisely, that's what I was saying. It is matter of practice. Okay, so I'm going to share one thing with you and you're all going to repeat it after me. We get good at what we practice. Please say that. We get good at what we practice. So जो भी चीज हम practice करेंगे, हम उस पर बेहतर और फिर बेहतरीन होते जाएंगे. Right? So now this is another very interesting way of keeping the audience engaged. If you don't know how to ask a question, right? If you don't know a story, whenever you are, giving them something very important, maybe a formula, maybe a law, maybe a rule, just ask them to repeat it after you. So it breaks the monotony of them just being passively receiving your information, right? Rather, now when they actively engage more senses in that particular period, again, that enhances their sense of participation and engagement. So repeatedly, or keep on telling them to repeat things after you, to use the chat box, show the thumbs up, show their virtual hand, right? Ask them a question, seek an answer from them, acknowledge whatever they are saying, they are adding, and it is going to make whole lot of difference in the energy of the whole thing. Okay, so now, like I shared a story with you, isn't it? So whichever element you are teaching to them, think about it. Is there a small anecdote that you can tell them? Is there a small story? और आप सोचो कि कुछ महीनों के बच्चे से लेके सबसे बुजुर्ग इंसान तक, we all love to hear stories. It starts with bedtime stories जो नानी दादी सुनाती थी, और ये जो आस्था चैनल है या जितने भी हमारे धार्मिक चैनल्स हैं, इन पे जो लोग वो बोलते ही अपने आप को क्या है, कथावाचक, है ना? महाभारत, रामायण, and any even our holy scriptures you pick up, what are those? They are also stories. There is some natural affinity of human beings with stories. So if you really want to be respected as a speaker, as a teacher, just master the art of telling stories. Very, very important. And maybe you have to do one-time practice, or you'll have to gather some data once. But then those same stories, I mean, हमने भी वही कहानियां सुनी, हमारे पेरेंट्स ने भी वही कहानियां सुनी, but every generation is loving those stories, isn't it? So when you're teaching certain concepts, when you're teaching certain constructs, like my subject is psychology, okay, and my teacher used to tell me, because I love to read about the background of the psychologists who have given different theories. She used to tell me that this girl even knows the brands of the underwears that these psychologists used to wear. But I would go so deep into the life of the psychologist and why this psychologist gave this theory. And now when I teach it to my students, I don't teach them just the theory that they gave. I gave them a lot of background also. He had these many children, and as a child, this is what happened. And when this happened, then it led him to think and give this kind of a theory, because there was something lacking in his life. There was something that was missing from his life, isn't it? जैसे हमारी psychology में ना एक theorist है, उनका नाम है Karen Horney, right? So this lady, इनकी जो पूरी theory है ना, मतलब she was the elder daughter in the family, और उस समय लड़कियों को पढ़ाया नहीं जाता था, right? So, and there was she was not even a very good looking lady, right? She was the ugly duckling of the house, right? So a lot of discrimination. Okay, to cover up for that, she became a doctor. Like, this was her way of rebelling for all the ill treatment that happened to her. And her theory was so anti-masculine in nature that one could easily make out that what resentment she held against men, right? The resentment that she held against her parents, right? And as she matured, of course, we all mellow down with age, we gain some wisdom, and there was a lot of change in the nature of the later theory that she gave. So instead of teaching the story, when you tell them a little background about that, they really get interested into that, and they're able to understand the concepts better. So more we can connect what we are teaching to them with some stories, with something which is so real, hands-on, right? Some real life examples. I know this is not something new, but if you can connect them with some real life examples, it is really going to make a lot of difference. Okay, my next question to all of you. आप कौन सा ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म यूज करते हैं मेजरली? Google Meet, right? So there are a lot of tools that Google Meet gives us. Are you aware of that? We can do some polls on Google Meet. Let me see if I can show you that. Google Meet के ना राइट साइड पे 3 डॉट्स हैं. हाँ, अब यहाँ पे नहीं दिखेगा. Again, there is a lot of issue here. Okay, on the right bottom side of Google Meet, now there's a small triangle and a small circle and a small square. Okay, if you enter into that, now it gives you many different things. Like one is polls, so you can actually create a poll and float it, so that everybody puts in, gives in their answers, and of course that creates engagement. That is one thing. There is Q&A, questions that can ask, and you can send them to all the audience and they can give you immediate answers. Like have you used Google Forms ever? Do you create those Google Forms? So similar forms, Q&A forms can be created in Google Meet also. Please go back and just experiment with these 2-3 things. And another very interesting feature here is breakout rooms. Have you used it? No. So breakout room means, like, let us say you have an audience of 100 people. Okay. You can create 10 breakout rooms, and out of those 100 people, you can actually put 10 people in each room, give them an activity to perform. Right. And then create a team leader out of that, and they can come back and present what they did in 1 minute or 2 minutes. So let us say you have a 1.5 hour session, or what is the length of your 1 hour? Okay, so in 1 hour, I don't think that would be feasible. But sometimes in that 1 hour, right, you can actually teach something, say 4 days, 5 days. On the 6th day, you can actually create breakout rooms. Like in real life, we create teams within a room, and we divide participants into groups, give them some team activity to perform, and then they come with a presentation or they share their results, etc, etc. Precisely the same thing can be used in Google Meet also, using breakout rooms. Okay, it's very, very simple to create breakout rooms. So the more you use these tools and add some novelty, some diversion into your sessions, the more your audience feels connected with you. ओके तो बताइए, अभी तक हमने क्या सीखा? अभी तक क्या आपने और ऐड किया अपनी ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग नॉलेज में, which can make your sessions a little more alive?
स्टूडेंट्स को पार्टिसिपेट
कैसे कराएं सर?
इमोजीज वाला आपने बताया,
हाँ,
हैंड्स वाला बताया,
करेक्ट
वो चीजें
है ना. चैट बॉक्स यूज करा सकते हो, बार बार जो आपने बोला, जो आपने मेजर चीज बोली, उसको रिपीट करा सकते हो, चाहे वर्बली चाहे चैट बॉक्स में डाल के उनको बोल सकते हो कि ये 4 लेटर्स चैट बॉक्स में टाइप करो, है ना. तो जितना आप उनको टास्क्स देते जाओगे, सिंपल टास्क, कॉम्प्लेक्स नहीं, बहुत सिंपल टास्क, उतना आपकी ऑडियंस आपके साथ ज्यादा कनेक्ट करेगी. अभी माफ नहीं करूंगी मैं इस सिस्टम को ना, जितना आज इसने मुझे तंग किया है. चलो अब यहां से उड़ गया. ग्रेट. हाँ जी, दिख तो नहीं रहा सर. यहाँ नहीं, जब या तो मैंने इधर, कोई नहीं, मैं इसको बंद करके फिर चलाती हूँ, और कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Online audience, is the PPT visible again or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Visible.
yes.
But it is not visible here now. Okay, so I said interactive polls, breakout rooms, quizzes, question answers, बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल है. किसी भी संडे घर पे बैठ के एक बार गूगल मीट को अच्छे से एक्सप्लोर करिएगा, राइट. नहीं तो आपके जो टेक्निकल असिस्टेंट्स आई एम श्योर आपके कॉलेज में भी होंगे, उनकी हेल्प लेके देखिएगा. I mean, you can really bring a lot of life to your sessions that way. Okay. Another thing, as I said, that our brain does not like monotony. Another thing our brain does not like is open loops, right? Open loops का मतलब होता है incomplete information. We really want. याद है बचपन में हम गेम खेलते थे चाइनीज विस्पर, isn't it? So सुना कि नहीं सुना, बट हम आगे कुछ ना कुछ पास जरूर कर देते थे. Whenever there was an open loop, we would complete it ourselves and pass on the information. No wonder जब real life में rumors are spread, right? तो क्या बात होती है, वो क्या की क्या की क्या की क्या बन जाती है. Because when you shared something with me, there was something information, some information was missing. I completed the loop and I shared it with you. Still something was missing, you completed it. So by the time, ma'am, it travels to the room and reaches to the person in the end, oh, it is an entirely new story and a different story, right? So in online education, there are a lot of open loops because we do not know whether they noted the information down. We have no clue unless a student comes up and tells us, ma'am, I did not get this, please explain it again. We have no idea whether what we have said has been received and processed by the students or not. Okay, so there's a technique called tell, show, do, review. What is it? Tell, show, do, review. So now that I say this, tell, show, do, review, like you're noting it down in your notebooks, we can always tell our audience, please write TSDR in the chat box. Isn't it? So tell, as in you tell a concept, you share a concept. Do, you engage in them in a particular activity which will help them or which will help you explain that concept better. If it is not possible to engage them in an activity, show them a video on that. Tell and then do something more tangible. देखो हमारे ना क्लासरूम में हमेशा 3 तरह के लोग बैठे होंगे. एक जो विजुअली इंफॉर्मेशन को इंटरप्रेट करते, दूसरा जो ऑडिटरली करते और तीसरा जो काइनेस्थेटिकली बॉडी के मूवमेंट से करते, राइट? सो the more you engage all the senses in your teaching methodology, you are actually catering to the individual differences that exist in the audience. So PPT हमारी कौन सी सेंस को cater करेगा? Visual, right? A lecture, audio, right? A video that we play, two. Video, I mean, that is visual as well as auditory. And then when I made you move around and I made you dance and, sway to a song, this is physical kinesthetic. Similarly, when we are asking them, raise your hand, or you're asking them to type something, or you're asking them to, press an emoji, this is more of physical or kinesthetic. ठीक है, तो tell के बाद next is show, that you show them through a video, through an extra thing, through a story, through an anecdote, whatever tool or element you can do to enhance the, how you percolate that thing, followed by a do. Do मैंने आपसे बहुत सारे शेयर किए, उनको कैसे कुछ कराना है. And last is review. Review means 1 घंटे का अगर सेशन है ना, हर 15 मिनट के स्मॉल सबसेट को खत्म करके उसको कंक्लूड जरूर कीजिए, उसकी एक ब्रीफ समरी जरूर प्रेजेंट कीजिए, या फिर ब्रेकआउट रूम बना के ऑडियंस को बोलो चलो आपस में डिस्कस करो अभी तक क्या हुआ. लाइक वी डू दिस पूरा 1 दिन का प्रोग्राम, लेट अस से दिस अ फुल डे ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम. It is so difficult to capture the audience for one whole day. So every 1 hour, every 45 minutes, we create a breakout room, tell everybody to gather there, review, and then one person is going to be a leader and they're going to say, कि अभी तक क्या सीखा? Right? So giving information in smaller chunks, very organized way, dressing it up with stories, with anecdotes, with some movement, with a video, right? With some interesting fact, then creating a lot of engagement from the audience, उनसे responses evoke कराने, acknowledge करके, feedback देके, appreciate करके, thank you बोल के, permission लेके, right? और फिर छोटे छोटे टुकड़ों में उसको review कराते रहना. So people will start making sense of what is happening. Information overload नहीं होगा, right? Toxicity जो है, digital toxicity नहीं होगी. वो inhale कर रहे हैं साथ साथ exhale भी करते जाएंगे. That's right. And सारे open loops भी जो हैं वो close होते जाएंगे. Okay. दो गूगल मीट में तो इनबिल्ट हैं ही, बट हमारे पास और भी बहुत सारे टूल्स हैं, जैसे गूगल फॉर्म्स हैं, मेंटीमीटर है, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. फाइनली आप बताओ आपके चैलेंजेस क्या हैं जब आप ऑनलाइन सेशंस करते हो. व्हाट चैलेंजेस डू यू फेस? यस, दिस क्वेश्चन इज ओपन टू आवर ऑनलाइन ऑडियंस आल्सो. नेटवर्क का इशू, ये तो टेक्निकल है सर.
Children these days they get distracted very easily.
Distraction is an issue. बिल्कुल सही.
Are they understanding?
हाँ, हमें पता ही नहीं whether they are understanding or not. Excellent, very right. और बताइए और क्या challenges हैं आपके other than network and the technical thing which we can't do much about.
Assessment methods.
हाँ, how do we assess? Okay. So मैम ने बोला engagement, सर ने बोला distraction. क्या आपको इन दो challenges के कुछ जवाब मिले आज इस सेशन में? Evaluation.
अभी पीछे जो रिजल्ट आए थे सारे बच्चों को पसंद किए ऑनलाइन.
Cheating, that is there. That is very right. But मतलब I am addressing the issues that when you present a session, what are the issues that you face? तो सर, और जैसे वो जो असेसमेंट है, अब अगेन ना उसके लिए इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए. प्रॉक्टर होता है एक टूल जिससे आप उनकी आई मूवमेंट को और उनकी किसी भी मूवमेंट को कैच कर लेते हो, और जैसे ही वो सब होता है उनका कनेक्शन ही कट हो जाता है. मतलब दे कांट कंटिन्यू विद देयर प्रोग्राम और देयर एग्जाम इफ there is any scrupulous activity going on in that particular room. So keeping the, so उसके लिए हमको infrastructure चाहिए. That is very very important.
AI टूल भी बहुत ज्यादा एडवांस हो गया तो बच्चे कुछ भी कर सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल, बच्चे कुछ भी कर सकते हैं.
ये टूल भी AI based है.
हाँ. तो पता है सर, अच्छा है, उनको आने दो. मतलब मैं बोलती हूँ कि देखो संस्कृत अब कोई नहीं पढ़ता, उर्दू पढ़ने वाले लोग बहुत कम हो गए, बिकॉज हर टाइम की ना एक रेलेवेंस होती है, एक सेट ऑफ एक एजुकेशन की. सो इवन इफ दे आर यूजिंग एआई टूल्स, मैं तो कहते हैं वो इतनी मेहनत कर ले, उन एआई टूल्स को ही मास्टर कर लें, उसको ही ध्यान से यूज करना सीख लें, बिकॉज दैट्स वेयर स्किल इज एंड दैट वेयर एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी इज. आजकल कौन लोग हैं सर जो सबसे ज्यादा कमा रहे हैं? परफॉर्मेंस मार्केटिंग, डिजिटल मार्केटिंग, वीडियो एडिटर्स, right? And people who know how to use AI tools very well. So I always, my son is 18 sir, abhi he will write his 12th ka exam, so I tell him that education is now a mean to an end, right? So maybe जो भी तुम concepts पढ़ रहे हो तुम्हें कहीं जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी real life में. Let me ask all of you a question. What is the Pythagorean theorem? Pythagorean theorem. H square is equal to p square plus b square. अब अगला सवाल, क्या हमने कोई रियल लाइफ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया इस h square is equal to p square plus b square को यूज करके?
But this was the real one. We have dealt with more complex Laplace.
That is what. मुझे नहीं आते ना सर वो, मैं तो बिल्कुल साइंस में इल्ले इंसान हूँ. Isn't it? So कहाँ हमने उनको रियल लाइफ प्रॉब्लम को सुलझाने में इस्तेमाल किया? कहीं भी नहीं. Right? Now it is a part of our syllabus or curriculum. So instead of, I would say, उसको ना झुटलाने के और उसके बारे में याप करने के, हम ये सोचें कि हम इन ये जो भी on the face of it ये चीजें बिल्कुल useless हैं, but I would say that they help us to learn to do things despite the fact that we don't want to do them. जिंदगी में कितनी बार ऐसी चीजें आएंगी ना जो हम नहीं करना चाहते बट फिर भी करनी पड़ती हैं. तो ये रूल्स, ये टूल्स, ये सारी आपकी जो थियरीज हैं, ये बस आपको ये करना सिखाते हैं कि भैया हमेशा मन का नहीं मिलेगा, बहुत बार बेमन का भी करना पड़ता है, बट उसको करना पड़ता है. सो खुशी खुशी कर लो, राइट? सो मतलब मुझे लगता है एज एडुकेटर्स सर, अब हमारा सबसे बड़ा टास्क यही है। हम सब जानते हैं कि हमारा सिलेबस काफी ऑब्सोलीट हो चुका है। जो हम पढ़ा रहे हैं और जो रियल लाइफ में जरूरत है उसमें ना बहुत ज्यादा गैप है। तो अब हम ये जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है, 2 years 3 years that students spend with us, हम जो पढ़ा रहे हैं उसको हम कैसे यूज करें उनकी लाइफ स्किल्स को बिल्ड करने में, उनकी रेजिलियंस को बिल्ड करने में। अगर वो फेल हो रहे हैं तो उस फेलियर को हम उनको कैसे सिखाएं कि जिंदगी में 50 बार फेल हो गए, इसके बाद खड़ा कैसे होना है, rather than beating them up for the failure that has happened, isn't it? And all the challenges that we are facing as educators, as parents, as adults, ये जेन जी को हैंडल करने में, राइट, हम इसको कैसे एक अपॉर्चुनिटी की तरह यूज कर सकते हैं? हाँ जी, इस अगली जनरेशन को किसी तरह से ये सिखाने में कि जो रियल लाइफ के चैलेंजेस है ना, वो तुमको फेस करने ही पड़ेंगे, और ये आपका एक छोटा सा मैदान है उस बड़ी लड़ाई की तैयारी करने के लिए, राइट? सो ये हमारा ध्येय है अब, क्योंकि एग्जाम पढ़ के, बुक का कंटेंट पढ़ के, उसको एग्जाम पे उल्टी करके उनका जिंदगी में तो भला होने वाला नहीं है, दैट वी नो फॉर श्योर, राइट? सो नाउ हम कैसे अपनी ब्रिलियंस को और हमारी स्किल्स को यूज करें कि हम इसको एक एक बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक की तरह, एक स्टेपिंग स्टोन की तरह उनको दे पाए, right? So this is what I wanted to share with all of you. I hope you found at least something in this session today that you can incorporate immediately in your online sessions, and you can add a little more element of interest, participation and engagement in your audience. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody who's joined us online. I really acknowledge your presence, and my heartfelt apology that I could not really engage with you a lot, because we had this cranky system in front of me today. But I hope you could receive something worthwhile in today's session, and it was worthy, or it is worthy of you utilizing it in your online sessions. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. I think फिर से कुछ डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया मैम, फिर वो बेचारे बोल नहीं पा रहे।
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks for the wonderful introduction. So, dear participants, I hope we are audible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
And Preet, I hope GPC quota is also connected.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Kavita ma'am, I hope you are audible. We are audible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you very much, ma'am. So dear participants, this was all about the 2 sessions that we want to deliver to all of you today. So we'll meet again tomorrow at 10 a.m. positively for another session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Kavita ma'am, Virendra sir, for joining us, and the participants from NITA Chandigarh. We will meet again tomorrow at 10 a.m.
All right, thank you very much. Great learning ahead. अब तो पूरा हफ्ता होगा आपका, क्या कहना भी नहीं। I don't feel leave. I have to reach home at 4.
ये तो इसमें तो ओपन है ना, नहीं चल रहा है भाई।
आगे एस्केप कर दो, लो
शेयरिंग
करो इसको, एस्केप नहीं है, कंट्रोल और डिलीट कर दो।
वो तो फिर
नहीं, सारा नहीं जाएगा यार, कमाल करो, जो बंद करना वही होगा। रुको,
वही है, बहुत सारे पर ये हैंग नहीं हो सकते।